everything happening around you have made it is not. You're not willing to do research to find out how you got to this place. You're not willing to find any cause, any solution, nothing. The grace of God, and that's the major problem. And as long as
you blame the people for this mentality, that there must be a place where this teaching and this lessons
came from.
The people just didn't pick it up.
But it's from the same people.
It's from the same people. I think the brand of
can we give them?
I think the brand of religion we got in our religious teachers and our religious teachers, because if you look at I think that these people keep us in a place, in a trance. For example, I'm not saying that Gambia is much better than we are, but there are a high percentage of Muslims there, and it's very different in the practice and the message. Gambia and Nigeria, the same West Africa. You go to another West African or another African country that there's Christianity and they're very practical. Like, okay, what kind of, and those ones are giving you reasons, like you say some things and go like, no, don't talk like that. This is not a product of miracles. It's functionality, and they're giving you step by step by step. So I'm not putting it wholly on religion, but I'm saying that the rot in our own society is everywhere. If you're going to go to this side for a reason, it's lacking. If you want to build up institutions, but because people see many things as miracles, many go better, it's just not getting. And it's one of the things that the middle class leans on. That hope. That my case is different. That as long as I can sort myself, I'm bringing it back to tie it into middle class selfishness. My case is different. The grace of God.
Gratitude is actually selfishness.
It's selfishness.
What I'm hearing is it that we need the middle class people to thrive or to champion this revolution?
Most likely, because it's the middle class that understand. This is where education is, but our major problem in Nigeria is that the middle class is largely ignorant. And the people that should drive conversation are ignorant.
I always say that the thing that is keeping us together is also what is tearing us apart. There's this notion that every Nigerian has. You know, we think it's just the same. Last I go there, all right. Last go there, all right. It is well. It's all good, and everything. And because of that, we tend not to take things too seriously. But slowly and surely, it is getting to that point where it is touching every single person. Every single person is beginning to feel it. So it's gonna. I see it taking a long time. Unless we do something about it.
Okay,
but it's slowly getting there.
I like to hear from Afifa. And I like to hear the Togo experience, because Togo is just
our neighbor here.
And with this person that's been used, how many years has he been in power for now?
More than 15.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's running again. This one year. So.
I think you all have a good point, and I totally agree with your point, Aisha, when you say the professional, they were like the base of all of this, because if lawyers wake up, doctors wake up, and people like you really need in the society, they don't just say, okay, we are now with 30%. We need more. My business is working, but I need more. And I need also to go in the streets with the poor guy, the poor people. I think it's what makes it work. You were talking about Togo. 2 years ago in Togo, we also have like a kind of revolution, but it didn't work. Because for me, from my point of view, it's really because people, it's the poorest people who are in the streets. People in need. But the people who have something, they don't want to be there because they don't want the government to see them and to say that, okay, you also a reaction, you're also a revolutionary person. So I think it's very important to have this association.
Get onto that point where nobody has anything to lose, because that's what you're saying. So the middle class had something to lose. That's why they didn't get onto the street. So until we all have,
you see, they always think you have something to lose, whereas you've lost everything.
You don't even realize it.
Yes,
it's false security.
It is. Really, because you have one generator at home and you have one gate man, then you think you're better than the person. No, your life isn't more secure than that person who is sleeping on the streets. The fact that there is insecurity means everyone is at risk. So this falsehood that the middle class here feels, no, I am better. I am my business, I don't want to be seen because they'll come after me, is the same story here in Nigeria.
we were on TV some days ago, yesterday, right? Some of the phone calls that I got, you know, people were like, oh, you have to be very careful, you have to do this, you know. And I'm like, and what makes you think I'm happy with what income I'm
I need to be careful calls.
Yeah. Yes, I'm not.
I'm like, you think? I don't like the careful calls.
I need more. And it's because I want more, that's why I'm talking. And silence means
You're okay.
Endorsement of what is yours.
I am not okay. I am not. So I will talk. So I don't want to also think it's ignorance from the middle class. It's more about just selfishness, you know. Not as if they do not know these problems exist. They would rather just, you know, okay, you know, the way you always say you're selfish, that's why you came out, because you want to be protected. You want to fight for those things that will give you equal rights with, you know, the people in power. So I should think for the other middle class people who just look at you and think you're stupid for coming out, it's more of selfish.
I think selfishness is the root cause, but ignorance is part of it.
So ignorance is not
only ignorance. I think it's about trust, because it's because you trust yourself that you gather all these women.
Yeah.
I think we really don't trust ourselves. We don't think that we are capable to do things.
Okay,
that's a very
because we've had a lot of protests in the past, and
we're
just dancing it away.
That goes into the ignorance part. So I don't think ignorance she's saying is that they don't know about the problem. It's not about ignorance about the problem. People actually don't know what to do. So that's the ignorant. People are ignorant about the fact of the exact thing. So that's why you don't even trust them, because you don't even have the capacity. If you don't know what to do, how do you know you have the capacity? I mean, typical example I said that how many people can state the names of their reps off the top of their head? How many people can say the names of their council of their wards off the top of their head? So it's all part of ignorance. So you don't even know what to do. So how do you trust yourself? I have the capacity. When you don't even know where you're going to go, how do you know you have the capacity?
I also want to agree with her, but I think that ignorance is part of the problem, but the root cause is that selfishness. Because if you cared enough, you will know.
You will find out. I mean,
you will find out.
I've come to find out things. I'm like, okay, this is what happens, right? We're getting into this. True.
If you care enough.
Yeah, I want to ask us a question. Why is it that we were stronger post-colonial era? We had strong movement. We have strong, even women's movement. We had the strongest after, you know, the post-colonial era where, you know, after independence, before independence, because everybody was together, the women had one voice. But right now, if you rise up to speak, they will say, okay, this is who she is, she's from this also part of the region. You know, that togetherness also creates an age.
I don't think to understand something. We are still in post-colonial.
We were stronger.
But those times you had accepted were not one.
Exactly.
So the riots were fragmented. You know that after the military came and created
states. From that angle, it was more about the region.
It was regional,
Nigeria were based on the region.
Because
about women, it was all about region. So it's a bit different now. So now, and as long as we went along, you know, the politicians have found something, which is the more divided we are as a people, the more control. Basically, going back to where she had started from, when she talked about the Togolese experience, where they started their uprising and they couldn't sustain it. It's all about that education, because even while you're doing whatever you're doing, there has to be a strategy. If there's no strategy towards it, in no time you will fail. As you're going on, it's not just to, I mean, there are a lot of things that would have caused like revolution. People come out and riot. What do? They start to kill and maim. And unfortunately, they kill and maim the same people who are suffering the same thing as themselves, instead of directing that anger in a more positive way. So when they came out, it wasn't sustainable. The Sudanese, they are able to sustain it because you have professionals, you have people who are educated, who have people who can think and strategize, who can look at the bigger issue. And so that's why the reason when the Al-Bashir stepped down, initially they were happy. When they saw what was happening, they immediately realized. But you see, the ones that are not that educated, they won't be able to. For me, there's something I always like to say to people: is for the education that you have, it's for thousands and millions of dollars. Because there's so many people who would have loved to be educated, but they are not educated. And so the fact that you're educated, you have a voice. That voice shouldn't belong to Spring, according to him. It's Obama, Barack Obama.
Why?
So, yeah, that's a good question. Why? So here is this Kenyan, whose father is a Kenyan, born to an American mother, and all of a sudden he's a president of the United States of America. He's a black man. And then the other guy in the Arab world is thinking, hey, I'm here. I can never be anything. Because they have put all those monarchy and whatever. So I will admit. So he was like, can go there and become president. There
Free world.
I know, so that sort of, it was after his, so that sort of like got a lot of people angered. So that smartphone that you see many people holding, it's a tool.
Used it a lot.
They used it during that. Even right here, a lot of the people you see on the street, you think they don't know anything. That WhatsApp, the messages are going through there. Because right now, it's not like during our own time. During my own time when I was a youth, I would only wait for the government to tell me what they want to tell me at 7 a.m., 9 p.m., and everything is shut down till the next day, 7 a.m. You understand? But right now, they have opportunity to interact with government. They have opportunity to see what is happening all over the world at the same time. As soon as it is happening, you're watching it. And so that's the difference. So when you say, I'm a human being, that's a human being, they have a good life. Why don't I have a good life?
But has the
So
Nigerian made any connection with good governance and his government?
not yet.
Not yet.
Well, not on a large scale.
Yes.
Not on, there are some youths that are
They know they are
trying.
coming, of course.
They are coming up.
There's
But
some
for
of them.
them, you know, there's a literacy for empowerment, emancipation learning that you need to have.
Absolutely.
That kind of learning that, you know, we have to change the narrative. Not about, you know, literacy, English, or, you know, any other, but learning the fact that, you know, we need to change our narrative.
Well, for
Let me
me,
just ask myself, does anybody know the literacy level of Sudan? I know in Tunisia it was 90-something. Sorry, yeah, not Tunisia, Turkey, when they had that there, it was like, well, do you know that of Sudan?
I'm not sure.
Because at the end of the day, education is very important. The literacy level of the citizens.
and I think that's another thing that is deliberately being attacked in Nigeria. There's no country that takes itself seriously that will attack education the way Nigeria has openly attacked its education system. You know, I remember learning, look, let me talk about my university. I'm not going to mention the name of the university I went to, out of respect yet again. However, my department did not have a single book in the library. And this is a course that, it is what we are doing here, that I studied. So it's a lot of, you know, you need to read, to apply to. And I was like, from 100 to 400 level, we didn't have books. So you can imagine the kind of graduates that are going to be churned out. And I always tell people that when I finished mass communication from my university, I now had to go to the University of Google and study. Yes, that's the thing that has saved me now. I had to go to the University of Google and study the rest. Because I remember when I was excited, when I went to study mass comm, I wanted to be like Christiana Amanpour. Like, this woman, see me, I'm coming. Nobody could tell me that. When I was young, I was very nobody could tell me to be any different. Then I entered and they were teaching me talking drum. I was like, no, you cannot be serious here.
What's that?
Where is the mass comm that will show them? You know. But apart from that, let's address sincerity of purpose. You know.
Sorry, let me answer your question. Education in Sudan is not free and or compulsory for children aged 6 to 13.
It's not free.
But the literacy rate is 70.2%. That's total population. Males 79%, females 60%.
Which is much higher than.
What year is that? What year?
Oh, okay, let me check for you.
Whichever year is much higher as when we were in that year and when we were now.
Because now, as of 2018, they had a total of 65.8. Sorry, 2008, not 28. And now 2008, we did not even have
We don't have no.
their literacy rate as at 2008 was 65.8.
Meanwhile, I want to ask a question about maintaining a struggle for this long. Thank God BBOG people are here. You know, 5 years is not an easy time. 5 years of being called today, the opposition or the people in power that year will call you partisan. Tomorrow they will lean on you. The next day when they are not in the mood, prostitute. Next minute you are upset. Next minute they didn't give you money, that's why, you know, all of that. But still to be able to sustain. That is the only movement I have to refer to. I don't know if people have another one.
I mean,
And so that is the issue. Can we answer a question on sustaining? One of the things I took away from BBOG, I remember back then at the beginning, and we insulted it a lot. Let me speak for myself. I did. Because I wonder, people went there, and one of the issues they had with OBS Ekwesili was that one time they went there, and she said, where are the original people? Like, people were coming and just acting like we're all part of, and she was insistent on the original family that started this thing. You know, carrying on, like, let us identify. At the beginning then, we did not know. But as we go on and I see different movements, I start to understand That if your original nucleus or whatever, the people who share your ideas are not there, that's me, Sha. The rest of you can answer how you are not there to sustain. These things can get saturated, and it happens a lot in Nigeria. Saturated, polluted, and turned into a joke. So can we look at longevity? Because this thing, we think it is a sprint.
It's not.
It's a marathon. So can we discuss longevity of movements and how we are not able to sustain? Has anybody considered from that angle?
Yeah, I think for me it's about the leadership. Who is leading the movement? It's very, very, very key. For the Arab Spring, you saw the man, it's because he saw the impact of, the economic impact in him, and he had to do what he did, committed suicide. And people felt, he should do that.
Burnt himself.
Yeah, he was the one that initiated the whole movement. I think the leadership is also very important. Who is leading the team? And also the character, who is the leader? It's easier because opiate security is not from the north. And they saw something, okay, this must be something she's really passionate about. She's not a northerner, and
she's all,
yeah, she's your business. If I may add to that, you talk, who mentioned sincerity of purpose?
She
mentioned. That's number one. Sincerity of purpose. I didn't join BBOG until 7th of May. You joined from the very first day that the protest started. Yes. When the girls were taken, I was still in Nigeria, but I traveled out with my sister for her graduation. So while we were in London, I was like, I saw pictures, I saw pictures, but I knew that as soon as because I've been looking for something to be a part of. I always say, my parents always say I'm a rebel with no cause, so I was just always looking for, my energy was just always looking for something, most especially political. So BBOG gave me that platform. So when I joined, they had already gone far with certain things. But one thing I realized for me that I would say is the reason behind the success of BBOG. Somebody talked about strategic team. Strategic team.
You have a strategy.
There is a strategy that was born from day one. There were leaders that the group that all came out to protest on that day deferred to and were chosen, right, by the people. They entrusted them to lead. It's very critical. So when you are going to come out to start off anything, that leadership. You can't just come out and expect that, okay, we just go to the streets and then scream and then come back. The leadership will chart the course. It was never, when I joined, I wasn't part of the leadership. I was until after a while before.
So which means dedication too?
Yes.
Dedication too.
I became a part of the leadership. It comes with a lot of challenges because even amongst the group, there are some that will not trust your motive. There are some that will not trust your decisions. There are some that will call you names also. There are some that will think, okay, you have your own interest in, so, but in the end for me, the key thing is the leadership. And whoever is the head of that leadership, just as you mentioned, is equally, because there were so many rules that sincerity of purpose was what we even had. We had a chant for it. What is our singularity of purpose?
Oh, wow.
There is a chant that we have, and there is a part where we say, what is our single? That when you walk into the fountain, whether you are APC, whether you're PDP, ACN, whatever it is, as soon as you walk into that fountain and you're coming for the sit-in or sit-out, there's only one thing leading you there. Singularity of purpose. So you must identify also when you're coming out for any kind of revolution or for any kind of protest, and what is the purpose? What do you intend to achieve? For some of them who came out on that day, if I knew we were going to be there for 5 years, honestly, it was not. Because on one of the days where we have fight, people just
wow.
Oh my gosh, you don't even want to know the fight. Probably when we finally are able to sit down and write a book about it, people will be shocked as to how we disagree. But at the end of the day, what is the minute that fight starts, what is our singularity of purpose? Bring back our girls. Are our girls back? No.
So okay, carry on.
So carry on.
Wow.
And we made this vow on one of them days where there was this big fight, members and the leadership. Because the leadership wanted us to pack our things and go away. And the members said,
no, because the leadership was really afraid that we were going to be physically attacked or killed or something, and she wanted to protect her people. But we insisted and we said, no, this fight is a fight to finish. And I will never forget, Toyin stood up and said, in our chant, one of the lines, we say, when will we stop?
Until they're back.
Our girls are back. And she said, our girls back.
No, wow.
No. So, you know, for me, that was the day I realized the import of that statement. And I was like, okay, what did you get yourself into? And it's a commitment, it's a vow, it's a promise that we made. So you must be able to back up whatever commitments. Along the line, a lot of people have done, but there are few people who are still there, who are still determined not to go away in spite of all the insults and the everything, you know, to still stay back. However, the key thing is your resilience, tenacity, sincerity of purpose, leadership.
Can I add shamelessness?
Yes,
I keep saying that, like,
yes.
you have to be shameless.
No, absolutely.
You can't shame the shameless. You know, they try, especially for women, they try to make us ashamed.
Which brings us to the
There's
women's
no shame.
conversation.
We ain't got any shame anymore.
I think we have.
Maybe she may have something else.
Okay, so the day you were referring to, that was in 2014, because at that moment we were both afraid that the government of the day was going to attack us and also the terrorists. And there was actually a real warning, security warning, not just from the Nigerian space, but even from the international, that we were going to be bombed at the Unity Fountain. And so the leaders were like, okay, they don't want this to happen. We are sitting down and we are bombed to be on their conscience and everything. And members decided, no, they were not going to agree. And so some of the things we decided then was, you know, there was a time when we weren't meeting at Unity Fountain, and none of us will know what venue we'll be meeting at until 30 minutes to the time. So we are all of, so that even if you're planning anything, you wouldn't know where we're going to. So that happened, where you, even when you're driving, the way you drive and everything. But like at the end of the day, it's about that leadership. Who are you on the journey with? Which is very important, because you need to be sure that the people you're on the journey with, or the people you carry along later on, they are all on the same page. Because when you are on the journey, sometimes you find that people are actually working for a good purpose. At the end of the day, they begin to fight over unnecessary things. So, and unity, you know, bring back our gas movement. A lot of people don't realize that it was never supposed to be a movement. It was a one-day march. We're supposed to do a march, everybody go home. It was on that day, it was better that it will continue. When one of the leaders of the Chibok people knelt in the rain and said, please don't go away. If you go away, this government will not answer us. You know, so they come from, you know, it depends on the kind of people that are speaking. And the reason probably why we are alive today is because those our leaders, they have international presence. International presence is very important. So they knew that if they taught an obvious of the city, or they taught a Sahaja to Mali, or they taught or they touch a money of waste. That's gonna be a bit of this. So there was, if it was the rest of us like this, they would have found us. So there was, you know, there was a bit of that. And so when on that day, so they begged for the voice to continue. And so that was when it was better that we will not stop, we come every day. And honestly, we all thought it would be like 5 days. I've started wearing this thing in 2014.
Plus May.
The batch was even much later. May 2015. And foolishly, I said to myself, I said, I will not remove them until all of them were back. And I've been forced to be wearing them for 5 years now. Wow. The only time I've had to remove them twice in this 5 years, I was going into the theater for operation. So I had to remove everything in my body. And so you see, this, you know, it is something that we didn't know would happen, but we had to go. And why did we stay this long? The leadership, right from day one. I'm a market woman, like I said earlier, I do business. So most times I'm thinking Naira and Kobo, right? And then in thinking of the movement, what are you going to use? You're going to use money and everything. But Dr. Obi as a Kusili will stand and say, no, we are not collecting any money from anywhere. And I think if there's any one thing that has sustained us is the fact that we are a self-funded movement. So you can't come and tell us what to do, how to do it. When
I gave them.
And when she actually said that, I wasn't even happy.
A lot of people that
I was like, because how are we going to use this? We need money to be amplified, to tell people, when people donate, they will feel part of this. He said, say, no, we must put our money where our empathy is. So even though international DC we're ready to bring, we say no. And so that has helped. Nobody is now coming to tell you this is what to speak or this is not what not to speak. And then, you know, so having that leadership and then building a team as you go along, some will fall off, no problem. And that's where the Bring Back, it's a free exit, free entry movement. So that your core team, it's very important. So as we're here, you know, it's very important. You know that core team that you work with, no matter what, you need to be on a journey with people that even you can turn your back and not be afraid that something will happen to you. And sometimes along the line, you didn't start with those people, you all met together, but you know, people will just weed off themselves. Those who are that sincerity of purpose, we keep going.
But because of the system you have put in place, those people will not be able to destroy.
No, they won't be able to. Yes.
Generated core values.
We have core values.
We have which, when we go out, even in those days for protest, you know, if we want to misbehave, somebody will just scream core values.
And those core values, some people left because of the core values.
But then it did not cripple them.
No.
I think that system is like one of the most important things for sustaining anything. Even for Nigeria to become whatever.
Even I remember I was speaking at an event last week. I think we went to Douglas's third memorial lecture, and I was trying to point out that look, system is the thing. Like we cannot expect that. Oh, I like Aisha Yusufu so much, such a brilliant person. Let her come and rule Nigeria. She'll change everything. No, we have to work on our systems. And funny enough, we want Nigeria to change, but all of us, well, not me, but people inside systems are not willing to do the right thing. But I'm hoping that some kind of miracle somewhere else.
Exactly.
And I keep telling me like systems per system.
Systems.
Individuals who might want to change, but really, it's like how am I? I don't think it's an excuse, but I can understand why one person, I can't fight against this whole institution by myself, and they will just sit. Even though what we now ought to do is reach out to, which is what we're doing here, the critical mass. If you don't get that critical mass, but one person will say, and man, this they want to do it, but like I can't go against this. What you ought to do is reach out to others. There are people, they're all in silos. Like she said, we've been ranting since university days. And so we've been talking about this for how many years now? And it's now that we're actually just doing something. There are a lot more people like that. So we just need more people. So everyone watching this, just reach out. And we need that critical mass. So because one person cannot fight a system, one person can fight an institution. That is why it is an institution.
And one person is punished. Most times you find that people they are punished and then nobody stands with them, they are left alone, and then people see that and then they don't come out to the table because it's what others have done.
We have, I think, barely 10 minutes to go. Two issues. Time flies when you are having fun. Okay, so Benny, I think we would love to do this again, I guess. We'll have to do this again.
We will do this again.
So, we have to look at the women angle, of course. I don't think our conversations every day are going to be women, but this is the first one. I think we need to touch on it. You know, what place, of course, we won't say that women were in charge of the protests in Sudan or anything, but they played a vital role. I think that just Ala Salah's photo and how it went round, and the symbol of this girl on that car leading it, even if it's for that day, made so many people pay attention. So I want us to look at the women angle in Nigeria and how much more we can put into this. For me, one of the things, again, for women, when we talk of middle class people leading things, women is a tad different. It's almost like it's turned on its head. Women are the grassroots They have one craze that is to make everything happen. They did that, they decide enough is enough. Women in my village, when women are tired, they now tell the men to go back inside. And they'll come out with only wrapper, nothing on top. That's when you know that the issue is critical. If you come and stand in their way, you get it hot. So we need to look at the women angle because, again, movements that have sustained for long, it's like we just have one example in Nigeria.
Unfortunately, and it shows that really then it's important that we're it's possible. Every time. It's just one, but it's hopeful. It gives me hope.
At least there's that one.
I would just want to point out when you talked about the fact that in Nigeria, when it comes to women, it seems as if it's the women at the grassroots. You know why? Because most times women at the grassroots are the ones who are more financially independent.
Yes.
They are more financially independent. It might look like
different, but they are the ones.
The paradox. Okay, they are the grassroots because they are the ones who most times, you know, they say there are more women entrepreneurs in Africa, especially in Nigeria. Because the men don't do the dirty jobs. They look at entrepreneurship as a dirty job. So it is the women that are the farmers, the ones selling ugu, the ones frying akara. You said, I said to a lot of women, you see the woman frying akara, you look at her, she's more financially independent, and you see a lot of women that are riding the latest 2019 model of car. Because that one has all the beautiful things, but she doesn't have the financial power. So at the grassroots, they have more financial power. We find that a lot of women, they get there,
savings.
they are married. They cut the shots in the house. A lot of that is the women that are the breadwinners in the houses. So it's a bit different when you come to that middle age. So you find out that most of these men, they can't talk because their husbands, if you talk, they will either collect the car from you. I'm not saying there are women who are working and all of that.
No, but I don't think the numbers are not
the numbers, if you look
it's
at
an illusion.
At the class.
So I think
these are bread. So that financial power is very important. Whatever we are doing as women, first and foremost, every human being, you are as attractive as your bank account. It's as simple as
that's it.
Ensure that then you cannot talk. Because at that meeting, when somebody is telling you that, hey, if you don't do this, I'll collect your car.
Who are you?
And you know, let me give it. I shared this story. It's one story. My husband, it's not one feminist that you. The other day looked at me and said, you know what? If you really look at it, it's a woman that should be marrying 4 women. You know, jokingly, we're joking. He's 12 years older than me, and I like to call him
That's
old
young
man.
man.
I'm telling you, he doesn't look it, but I like to call him old
Daddy.
man. And I said, say you think I'm an old man? Wait, now if I come out now, I carry my jeep or whatever, I'll go and start. No, I can get girls of 18 years. I said, no, more. I will get a boy of 24. If he's 25, he's too old. He said, any girl that goes for you, follow your money. I said, your uncle. It's very important. I would say, even if your husband is sleeping, and he raised his hands in his dreams, he wanted to slap, he will wake up. He says, if that I had nightmares. When he knows that if he has problem, he can come to you and you write fact check for him. But when you're asking him for tomato money, even money to give to your siblings or your family, sometimes he won't value you. So it's very important for every woman. Forget what they say. They will call you all sorts of names. What is it? If they say call you a prostitute, tell them that you are not my customer, so it's okay. As long as it's my body. You understand? That's what they do. I had the prostitute talk with my daughter. My youngest, she's 17. She will turn 18 December this year. I think when she was about 15, 16, I called her and I sat down. I said, look, I've paid this price. My mom paid. Because no matter, whenever a woman is being successful or you're doing something, the first thing they tell you, oh, you are a prostitute, and so that you keep them. I said, so when they tell you, forget about it, I've already paid the price. Go ahead. If they call you names, take it. Don't go and be saying, oh, I need to, please. It's my body. I will sell it how I want to sell it. I take concern you now. It don't concern you. So it's very important. So that's when you see the women at the grassroots, they are more powerful, they have more voices. Is it the man that you are giving him burukutu to drink, money to go and buy burukutu that come and tell you that you not doing anything? If they go, let's go. If they don't
Twitter for Twitter.
You go low. For every bar, they don't know the enter the ground. They will know it's a choice.
Every circle has what it takes to bring about coming together, addressing, talking about this issue.
Absolutely. I think. Let me give you just one narrative. You know this thing about you when you talk about women talking. How many times do you actually put on the TV and the young girl sees women talking? That's where the problem is. So when she doesn't see people talking, what does it say to her? That space doesn't belong to me. So, and it's all about mentality. It's the way, some of the things that we have now, you know, sometimes when things are happening, you think nothing is changing. A lot is actually changing. The fact that women can deal and say, I tell people, when I tell people, I say I hate cooking. They'll be like, how can you say you hate cooking? Let me give you an example. My mom came to my house. My mom came to my house. She was with me like I think 3 weeks ago, and then she was Kodete, you are not entering kitchen. I said, what do I need to do? So she was like, no, how can you know? I said, there's food there on the table now. So my husband just came in and he wanted to, and I said, hey, see that? My mom is fighting your case. So she she now said, you know what my mom first said? I want to apologize. That so my mom like, that I see that she's not empty. My mother said, why should she enter?
See me, that's my mom.
My mother said, why should she enter now? I said, food is being whatever. You know when he left, my mom was like, it's your husband that is spoiling you. So you see, first of all, we are fighting. Not a lot of women can come out and say they don't like it. They were like, food is I get to go to the heart of the man. Which, if that's when his heart is, he will be going to restaurant. Even when my husband proposed to me, I said to him, I am lazy, I don't like housework, and I'm always sick. We had that conversation.
But you said what this is about.
So a lot of women are able to be comfortable enough to say, these are the things I want. I don't want to be married. I don't want to get married. It's a thing of conditioning. Yes, it's not conditioning. So let me so what my daughter's story, before we leave, I want to share my daughter.
Because I love the diverse
so my daughter
here. You know.
My daughter, they were going to do prefectship in her school. So what they do is that you have to, they don't just give you, so you contest. You show indicate interest, you pick form, though you don't buy, and then you all of that, come and campaign or whatever. So for me, coming from my own conditioned mindset, so I was not like, there's going to be like 12 slots. So you have 6 boys play. And she looked at me and said, no. So according to who wins, in my head I said, okay. You see, my own upbringing, my own conditioning, it had to be 50-50. My daughter's like, no. And then they took it from 2 boys that picked before. Later they encouraged other boys to pick. But at the end they increased it to 18, and there were 12 girls and 6 boys. That's the reality of my daughter, not this reality of looking for 35% as a representation. You said you cannot be 100% there. Because I get 35%, I am out with Rwanda. So for my daughter's reality,
the thing about it is
we are seeing in politics, the reality.
So we need to get it.
Kenya stepped, I think it's how we asked for it. Kenya stepped on their own 35% affirmative action. They did not say, please, so come and give us. I said, give us our 35% affirmative action now, because they needed to stand on it to get more. The difference and the problem here, now I'll encourage more young women, see, there's no room for a trim and prissy auntie inside the jungle. You understand? One of the problems we are having, like for me, when I used to attend these programs, and I'll be the stubborn one, and other young women will be like, oh God, they'll make an example out of her right now. But I know who I am. And I made it very, there was one program that an older woman was trying to, say something wrong to me, and I won't take it. Everybody was like, no, you're supposed to lay down. I'm like, no, that's the leadership. That's the leadership. When something is wrong, part of when we go for these gatherings, I start noticing some of the conditioning. And I think because women before us suffered a lot.
So they want to pass it on.
So you hear in political conversations, when you're in this struggle, you're not supposed to make the men feel afraid. Just pipe down, cooperate with that. And
that's how they have.
So is that the narrative? So right now, politicians are you saying that they're being like prim and proper and asking for it?
Yes.
So can we bring that back to like feeding the pipeline? So you're saying that if there are more women in it, you have to be loud. You have to be aggressive about it, because that is why this thing is not working. Every time they approach, once you approach to GO bill, let's go for courtesy calls. Am I lying? Let's go for courtesy calls. Let us meet, and this is the angle I wanted to meet you at the beginning. That's when we're talking about women participation. You're like, don't carry the women tag. When you go to run for office, the other women that are running for office with you in your state will decide to form women group. You know what they'll be doing? Courtesy calls to their male opponents. Let's go and greet them. Really? Yes, you're not ready. So these things, you're not ready. When you're ready for something, Josephine and Annie told me this thing. If you're not militant about it, stop wasting my time. If you are still going to do, hi, let us gather, let us talk, you're not ready. And you have to come out. Right now, I feel like a lot of young women who still attend all these trainings, you people are those middle coasting people. You're comfortable. The last training you went for, what did you learn inside that the one before did not? You understand? It's the same thing. And then you go, I got tired of taking pictures. It was when I went for a Transcorp last year. I was like, no, the same ignorant nonsense.
Because the reality of that is,
but why can't they bring people who are experienced, who have seen?
It is not. There's no need. There's no teaching. There's no teaching. If these people are serious about making you participate better. They will donate money towards putting you on TV. Where they will put their money, is, I think Abiodun is an excellent speaker. Abiodun go on TV. I think the people that were invested in my political career put me in places to talk, gave me platforms to talk, will call me and say, Ndi, come and that is the one. Don't call me and put me in a hotel and I'll be feeling AC and then we'll take selfies and leave. If you are if you are invested, International Republican Institute, Mr. Central Banks, yes, Central Banks was interested in our careers. The first time Central Banks invited us leadership training, at the end of it, my political party PDP was doing what's the name? Reconciliation committees. Central Banks called me. Hi, Ndi. There is reconciliation committees. I have not reached the level. I'm still in my 20s to go to that place. What did Central Banks do? He puts me inside there. That is what we need these organizations to do. Because IRI was part of people organizing the meeting. Oh yeah, Ndi, come and sit. When I sat there, I functioned well. From there, what people like, this Ndi is good though. I think they called me 2 or 3 times. IRI put me in major places to speak, and then people saw me. That is what these institutions are supposed to do for women. Platforms legitimize the woman.
They want to be their conscious. Because with what you're doing with all these things they are doing, they call it together platform, you will talk workshop. Is that conscious? They are now they make themselves feel good that they're doing something.
That they are doing something. They're not doing anything.
It's motion without movement.
I thought I was the only one.
So you have that. You have to decide within yourself that that's the last one. Yes. Okay.
So scatter the system. When they say more, they go down. Bath with the mud, pour it on your head.
And when they leader there too.
Come and shower and do your makeup so that they know don't say trust.
I'm so happy to be in this.
So seriously, I like the aggression. Like we need to tell ourselves the truth.
I always say nobody gives a power.
Doesn't do delivery.
So children
are waiting for life to come and give you something, you won't get it.
Children of Nigeria and
it doesn't do you have to go there.
And Togo, children of West Africa. Children of West Africa. I'm so sorry. I was going to say, they're Liberian.
I'm Nigerian.
Nigerian. I was going to say children of God. I was like, no, don't say that. Say it. And I still missed it.
That's the condition. And why would we abdicate? We abdicate our responsibility.
You understand what? So I now say, let me now own our nation.
I told that when we had an AIT interview yesterday, right? It was yesterday, and as I was driving to AIT, I was listening to this Hembelem, and the phone calls that were coming, and people were just going, "Oh, it's only God that will save this country." I think I should just
you have carried God to
I think I spent over an hour.
I want to add something because you talk about leadership and you talk about, I don't know who talk about religion. I think leadership in religion is very important for Christian and Muslim. If you take the case of Senegal, for example, they are mainly Muslims. But everything the imam, the mosque leader will do will impact politics. And in Togo 2 years ago, there is a mosque leader who was put in jail, and I think it was sad that all the mosque leaders didn't just stand up and everybody went for just to fight for this one. And I think it's a power we have, to be together, and these leaders also need to be together. It's sad that sometimes we just say, okay, we are, like you say, everybody is kind of thinking only, okay, I'm not in jail, so I'm fine. Yes. So it's sad, but because at the end of everything, we all want change in our countries.
So the leader that was put in jail was one that used to speak out.
Yeah.
I think the same thing, remember when Boko Haram started, a lot of imams that would speak out against extremism were killed and we didn't say anything. So anyway, this has been a very lovely gathering. What we are hoping to achieve.
We didn't follow rules.
That's not the point.
It's fine. No, but and then there'll be time where we need to. But this one, especially this was supposed to be
So going forward, we're hoping that in our individual states, in another part of Abuja, you can hold the power circle engine. It can be anywhere. Pick your political topic, pick an issue, sit down, go about it, please don't be subjective to party politics. More about it. Talk about solutions. But let it be again that we are creating spaces for women to lead the conversation, to be our own thought leaders, because the ripple effect of this thing is really going to be big. And once you have it recorded, we'll upload, we'll watch, we'll talk. You can insult one that like, hey, I shall superstar lady. Usual. I'll just come see.
That's what they want. They want you to do.
Stop, but we'll not go.
Like they said, but more
we're here to
use it.